Hi, it's me, your host, and today I'm going to demonstrate a home-built stroboscope. What is a stroboscope? A stroboscope, you might ask. Well, it's a scope that strobes. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to show you the hidden message on my indoor belt disc sander combo. Now to prove to you these aren't crazy special effects, I'm going to sand my wood piece. And to prove to you that that wasn't a special effect, I'm going to put my finger in the belt sander, the disc sander. The disc belt sander combo. I'm going to put my finger into the disc part of the combo sander, indoor. That was actually a special effect. A stroboscope is used to measure the speed of a cyclical system. It doesn't directly measure it, but the user tunes the frequency until it matches that of the system. And you know you've matched the system when it freezes, because the strobe is pulsing at the exact same time in the cycle every single time. It's not as simple as turning a dial. There's a couple more steps to ensure you've got the right frequency, but we'll cover that after we go through the build of the stroboscope.
Here are the laser cut parts. It's a piece of mirrored cardstock from Amazon. A little acrylic window, might be hard to see. A little display encoder, some buttons, a switch, and here's the 10-watt LED. This will be like the heart of the stroboscope. Everything is held together using nothing but interlocking pieces. You'll notice there's no glue, there's no nails, screws, any tape like the last video. And hopefully it's all rigid enough. I really wanted to try and make something that was almost 100% laser cut. This is the reflector for the LED. This will sit in the front, and to bend it, hopefully I can get a nice sharp edge. And so now I need to get the hot glue gun and glue these little flaps down. While the hot glue gun's warming up, I'll put the handle onto the body. This is one of my favorite pieces. The handle fits through this hole, and this clip, if I can get it on without blocking the view. And now the handle's locked in place, and it's a little bit of a detent, so this won't pull out easily. It'll get stuck right there. And I realize I put the handle on backwards. The hot glue gun is warm, so dab of hot glue on the underside, and just quickly put the flap down. Oh, now it's stuck to my finger. Ta-da! Something I forgot to film was putting the groove into this side of the control panel in the corner. Since it sits at an angle, it needs to be flush. Oh, I've just realized it's backwards. I cut the groove on the wrong side. Whatever. It still has to come apart again to fit all the electronics in. It all holds together impressively well. I'm not trying to float my own goat, but I think this method of fastening is something I'll definitely reuse again in the future. You might be able to hear the strobe right now, but it doesn't actually make any noise. The microphone is picking something up, and I'm not sure what. Anyways, what I want to do is show you how much I can overcurrent the LED. You know, when you run, you can run a short distance very quickly. You can sprint it. And if you want to run a long distance, you have to slow down. And if you try to sprint a long distance, you like die or something. I am not really sure what happens. What I'm going to do is increase the voltage, which is going to increase the current. And I'm measuring the current with a 1/2 ohm shunt resistor. And it starts getting really bright. And this is about a 10 times increase in current and a 25 times increase in power. I've just noticed the E digit, or the F digit on the first segment is out. I don't care, in it goes. Now it works perfectly. The lines the strobe are running so much current that the magnetic field produced is enough to interfere with the encoder. So the microprocessor thinks the encoder is ticking, but it's actually the strobe. I'm going to twist the LED wires, and the twisted pair of the magnetic field should cancel out. I have twisted the wires, and yep, didn't work. I fixed the noise issue with some large capacitors, crammed all the electronics in. 9-volt battery wasn't going to cut it, so I created what I think might be the world's jankiest adapter from a 9-volt battery to a 3-cell lithium polymer. Here is the stroboscope in action. The switch turns it on. The dial increments and decrements the value depending on how fast you turn it. The minimum is 60 RPM, and the soft maximum is 15,000 RPM. The buttons divide by 2 and multiply by 2 for quick adjustments and finding the harmonics. Cool feature is when you turn it off and turn it back on, the value is stored in memory, so you can start from where you left off. And now I'll show you how to actually measure something with it.
A crazed inventor has built a device to keep his cat cool on warm summer afternoons. This voiceover is going to replace my subpar ad-libbed instructions on how to use a stroboscope. Finding the frequency is as simple as the strobe flashing in the same spot of every single cycle. Now the problem with this is if the strobe flashes in the same spot every 3rd cycle, it looks exactly the same. So you have to continue increasing the frequency until you get to a point where you can see duplicates of all the features. And basically you want to see doubles of all the features. And what that means is the strobe is flashing twice for every time the strobe spins around once. And if you double it again, you'll see the strobe flashing 4 times for every time the object spins around once. And you'll see 4 features. I don't do that in this example, but you'll see it in the next example. But once you see duplicates of the features, you know that by dividing by 2, you'll arrive at the correct frequency, and the 1 strobe per cycle is actually 1 strobe per cycle and not less. Now he has to test how safe the fan is for his cat. Oh god! The inventor concluded his device was not safe for a cat. You know it's good when even I'm a little scared. Dug out my old RC helicopter. Safety is very important, so glasses and aluminum foil. Let's do this. Oh, I gotta plug it in. Alright, up to speed. This is really scary. .4,400 RPM. So I think that's actually the true RPM. I think it's 2,200. So you can see the dot only on one side. And when I double it, you see the dot on both sides now. So basically you're capturing the dot at the halfway and the full. Well, it's the end of the video. You may have noticed some horizontal banding when the stroboscope was on, and that is caused by this camera having a rolling shutter. We tried to compensate by reducing the shutter speed as low as it would go, but it didn't completely negate it. If we had a camera with a global shutter, that wouldn't be a problem because the entire image is captured at once instead of over a period of time. But we can't afford to buy, borrow, or steal one of those, so what did I learn? Well, it's not crappy science unless you've got a Big Bertha of a battery on top and a bunch of tape. I say this is not really Big Bertha. I've got a bigger Bertha, but that'll be for a future video. What did we actually learn? Large current spikes cause noise. The issue with the encoder is basically caused by the massive pulsing of current through the LED. But in a future video, we're going to take some of these LEDs and see if we can push them even further, which I guess is going to make that noise problem worse. But whatever, that's it. I think I've covered everything we learned. Didn't learn too much, just a few things. And we'll see you next time. I should have gone to the light.
I like that light.